A 3-game win streak that was stopped in a most unusual fashion.
It's a little weird. Like, after the game, you don't really know what to do next. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody, even the fans were still standing in the stands like, we go to PKs or what do we do? But...
And now, after a week off, let's run it back to back.
Hopefully, we can have a better outcome on that game.
Getting ready for round number 2 against the Giants.
I mean, look, I'm going to need the fans of the Commanders to really show out this next game. I'm going to provide as many free tickets as I can. We need everybody there. This game could be the season. So we need full support. We need that stadium rocking.
And a 4-game sprint to the finish on Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus.
The man is back, y'all. We're back. Call your mama, call your daddy. We're back and we're back. We're back. Tony McGee, back, y'all. We're back. Tony McGee. Come on. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee.
Welcome to Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. This week we got a great show for you. We got a great quarterback and a great cornerback. Now, when you go out to get your stuff right now for the show, try to see who I'm talking about. We'll be back in a moment.
What's up?
Welcome back. As I told you, I got a great quarterback. If you remember his name from a time back, he was outstanding. I'm talking about, he called me Shaft's daddy, though. That's you got Jason Campbell on this show.
Mm-hmm.
And then a show back, we had a young man on there. I've been getting calls from all over the country. You got to bring him back. And I tell you what, I'm glad to have him here. We got one of the best cornerbacks, but one of the funniest people you'll see. Fred Smoot's in the house.
Hey, I'm here. It's easier to find me than it is to find that beard that Jason's wearing right now. I don't know where he found it at.
All right, and now we always keep the ratings in the house. G, what you been doing, man? How you doing, G?
I'm still driving your car, brother. I'm still driving your car.
Oh, there you go. I'm driving Donna's car. And speaking of Donna Hopkins, now you know that she's always the only female here, but she's telling us we all wrong. But she got her stuff together.
You normally are wrong, Tony.
And last but not least, we got Alex. What's happening, Alex?
What's up, Tom?
A little while. We know we all got a lot to say. And what we want to do is get this conversation going. We're looking at it right now. The Commanders were on vacation for a bit. That's what I call it. But at the same time, a couple of teams that they needed to lose, lost. But it will mean nothing if they do not beat the Giants coming up. So what I'm looking at, and we'll take a look back during this show at what these people are, what do people need to do if they're looking for this team to get to the playoffs? And when I say that, each position, and Don, I'm starting with the quarterback. No, Jason, I think I start the quarterback with you. You know, they tell me that this quarterback, and I say it myself, he's winning games, but he's missing throws. He's about 50-50. What can he do to improve himself? And really only for one game, because if they lose New York, they're in trouble anyway.
Yeah, that was a big weekend for them. You know, they sat at home and gained a game on a lot of people in the NFC division. When you look at the playoff overall picture, they sit in that 6th seed. The one thing about Heineke, like I've said before, you know, he plays with so much energy on his sleeves. And I think that's why the team adapts well to him. It's not that he makes every play or he makes every throw. It's just the energy that he brings to an offense that they kind of needs it. But at the end of the day, though, in order to go deep into the playoffs, you got to be able to hit those ordinary plays. You got to hit the ones that are there when they're there to be had. And I think that's the next step for him. You know, of course, he can make the 1 or 2 great plays a game that's kind of off schedule and everyone goes crazy and enjoy that moment. But to continue to win consistently, you know, offensively and score more than 17 points a game, you got to make those plays count that when they are there. And that's the difference right now between them just beating teams and just kind of getting by.
And, you know, I think you're absolutely correct on that. And when I look at it is, he is a quarterback right now. He's about 50-50. But, Donna, as we were saying, he needs to be about 80-20 for these playoffs.
Yeah, Tony, when you look at what he did in that first matchup against the Giants, he was 27 of 41, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns. But the thing about that game is they got off to a quick start, a 10-0 quick start, but they kind of like fizzled. And that's something, although the Giants got destroyed by the Eagles on Sunday, I mean, is that a bad thing as far as coming into this game against the Commanders and the Commanders being off this week? Who has the advantage coming in this week? But one thing, they've got to have better quarterback play, I think, against the Giants coming up this week. And I think Heineke was hit or miss sometimes, but a game at this magnitude that you got to win, as Jonathan Allen said, we need all the fans, because if we don't win this game, this is the season. So I think the quarterback play has to be so much better. And I think Scott Turner has to be on top of his game this week also. But if they don't start off strong and put the foot on them like Philadelphia did, and not even have to worry about at the end of the game, overtime and all that, they've got to take care of business from the start, the middle to the end.
And that's very correct. But I want to ask G, who 699 catches and should be in the Hall of Fame, what can the receivers do to help the quarterback?
Well, I mean, the receivers, they're going to do their job 100%. I mean, so far, every time that you throw them the rock, they've came through with it. So the key is also having a good running game. We have a good running game. We have a flow where, it's going to be time where they don't have to depend on the pass, and then you can pass the ball. I'm not worried about our receivers. We're 5 deep at that position. The 5th guy, like I said before, could start on any other team. The receiving crew is going to be there. What's going to make us win football games, honestly, right now, will be the defense. The defense is the reason why we're winning football games. And the offense just can't hurt us. At the end of the day, we just need Heineke to go out there and play solid and don't make a mistake that puts us in a situation where the defense has to defend because we did something on the 5-yard line or in our own territory. But offense goes out there and just play strong. Our defense goes out there and play lights out like they've been doing. We'll be fine. 100%. We'll be fine. We'll win the football game.
Speaking of lights out, Fred, and you're talking about defense right now, people were very concerned with the defensive backs. Do you think they have improved, or have they gotten good enough to really be a playoff contender at that defensive backfield now?
Why am I the only one that feels like we reporting the news at church right now? Like St. Augustine Tabernacle Church of the people who done did bad. At the end of the day, we should feel a little bit more up about how we feel. Like we all been talking about the bad thing these kids have done. Let me tell you about the good these kids have done. And they have established themselves and could be the best NFC division of all time as one of the contenders. They've not only beat the best team in the NFL in the Philadelphia Eagles, they beat them handily. They're one play away from being the second best team in the NFC, and that's the Minnesota Vikings. So what this team does well is they're a chameleon. Whatever they need to be that day to win, that's what they do. If they need to throw 40 times, which I don't want Heineke throwing 40 times. We see what the magic potion is. Run the ball, let him make that 1, 2, 3 big plays a game, play good defense, and play good special teams. They are who they are at this time of the year. Heineke is not going to go in the booth as Clark Kent and come out Superman. He is Clark Kent. That's all he ever going to be. So at the end of the day, we got to reaffirm that offensive line because it's all about the trenches. If you dominate the trenches, you win football games. We have a dominant defensive line. We have an offensive line that's going through some injuries. You don't protect Heineke, he like any other quarterback. He will look like regular unleaded gas.
And you know what?
Hey, Fred, we said going to church.
Diesel.
We're going to need some church.
Hey, listen.
Act like we in church. I was about to say that too, Fred.
No, they act like we in church. Donna over there acting like Sister Pearlie. You MCing this thing like Deacon Jones. I like, this thing is getting kind of low energy here.
Oh, well.
Alan, let me tell you this. Alan, you think the offensive line, we got injuries and everything, but ever since Robinson been back, they've been running the ball well, and I think that's the key to this success. Are they ready? Will they get the people back in time, do you think? And that I'm talking about for the game Sunday, because right now, this is the only game that matters. They lose this game, they're almost all the way out.
Tone, I'm with you. And Fred said it great. It's about the trenches, and the defense has been wonderful, and I think that is sort of that and the wide receiving core, that's kind of what this football team puts forth in terms of this is what you got to deal with. Offensively, if they can keep running the ball, Brian Robinson's been great. This time of year, you guys know this. Donna knows this. You all know this better than I know it. You got to be able to run it. Even if Heineke was a 40 pass a game guy, and we know he's not, you still got to run the ball in late December and January to win. I think the offensive line can run block. I think he makes that line better because, as Coach said last week after the tie with the Giants, he keeps plays alive and receivers are looking for him, and he creates things on the fly off schedule, as Jason said. So I think, A, in terms of pass pro, he can make them better because of his skill set and that stuff he does. If they can run the football, they can hang with anybody, Tone. And it starts Sunday against New York at home. I don't know what the weather will be like. It ain't going to be 80, okay? We know that. It's going to be run the football weather. Back in the day, that's what this team did. If this team can do that, they can beat the Giants, and they can probably hang with anybody. They beat Philly, like Fred said. They almost beat Minnesota, like Fred said. Run the ball, play D, they're in good shape.
Alex almost is not good enough.
What are you talking about?
Hey, Donna, let me ask you this, Donna. Everybody right now can say, everybody looks at the 49ers as a true Super Bowl contender. Can we all agree with that?
Yeah.
If they stay well.
All right. Well, now here go what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to reveal some truth to you. We are built exactly the same. They are built on a defensive front with first rounders. We got the same first rounders. They are built on the think about this. Let's go to wide receivers and let's go to the group of offensive players. They have a Deebo Samuel. Well, he's hurt right now, but he can play running back and wide receivers. Well, we have his cousin, Curtis Samuel, who can go from wide receiver to running back. They have a Brandon Ayuk. We have a Terry McLaurin. They have right now they have a running game that's a one-headed monster. We have a running game that's a two-headed monster. The only thing that we don't have that they have is a Trent Williams. Other than that, these teams are built the same. They win with a running game and they win with tough defense. Why ain't people looking at the Commanders as that type of team? Nobody wants to play us in when it get cold because we've been playing cold weather football, playoff football since the season started. So at the end of the day, we are exactly the same as those guys.
But Fred, I agree with you at a certain point. My bad, Donna. I agree with you at a certain point, but it's two things you missed out on. First, we don't have a Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan's a great play caller. He develops things to get people in position to score points. And when you talk about their run game, you have the hitter with McCaffrey who's just as elusive outside the backfield as he is inside the backfield. And he creates those one-on-one matchups that draws
so you gonna act like Antonio Gibson can't line up at wide receiver? He's a former wide receiver.
I'm not saying that. I'm talking about Antonio Gibson's more of a big body guy. Caffrey is more of a more smaller guy he's more shifty. He runs more option routes. He can get down the field a lot faster. And then when you talk about defense, yes, our defense is really good. That's what's holding us down. That's what wins championship. But you look at the Philadelphia, you look at the 49ers, they can run the ball consistently at you. And then they're able to utilize their passing game, play action pass off of it. We got to set the line of scrimmage, and that's something we haven't been able to do consistently throughout the year. That's the things that set you up when you get the playoff is who can run it consistently and who can control the ball game by converting those third downs, stand on the field. Washington always got to kind of play from behind or play at the same level as the other team. If you're able to get ahead, now you can let our defense tee off. But that's the two things we're missing when you talk about.
Have you been watching the flow model TV? Because you must not be looking at the game that I'm looking at. Because I watched this team inflict their will on the number one team in the NFL. I watched this team say, we're going to run the ball and we're going to make you like it. I watched this team with a two-headed running back run on anybody. We got a tight end group that's very, very under the radar. We got a tall guy that can make it happen in Logan. We got speed guys. We got a guy in between that can make it happen with Bates. Are you not watching the game that I'm watching? You're a front runner. You're just like everybody else.
That's good, but you haven't mentioned the offensive line either because that's been the Achilles heel. Also, I mean, they run the ball well as far as pass run blocking, but it's the pass blocking. When against the Giants, Heineke was running for his life.
Five sacks. We gave up 5 sacks in the last 4 weeks. That means he went 3 weeks of those 5 without getting sacked. 5 in 3 and 4 weeks. I'll take that.
I got to go with Fred on this for the simple aspect. These teams are built the same, and if you look at them, the only thing with Frisco is they can't stay well, so that makes Washington a little bit better.
Thank
we
you.
come back in, we'll get this going on. And don't get quiet, because Fred Smoot gonna talk about y'all. So we're gonna get this on the road. We'll be back in a moment. Now, you heard a little bit, but we talk about it during the break, but at the same time, I got some people here that's going to tell you really what's going on with this team. And one thing I look at it, nobody's talked about, but Gary, for one time in 20 years, finally said the defense is playing well. They have 3 guys that got 7 or more sacks. They may have 3 guys with 10 or more sacks. The last time that was done was when Dave Butts, Dexter Manley, and myself did that. Now, you know how long ago that was.
Hey, Tony, you know what? Ain't nobody going to argue about the defense, because this defense has been helping this team get some of those wins. And when you look, like you said, across the defensive front, I mean, they're balling. And the thing about it is that Giants' first game, they shut down their running game. What they have to do, and I don't want to hear Fred say they don't, is that they've got to contain Daniel Jones, who ran all around in that first Giants game. And they've got to be better in stopping that. And hopefully Benjamin St. Juice, who was out for 2 games, will be back this week, because he's definitely needed come this week. Fred, what you got to say to that? I mean, you know, Daniel Jones.
Hey, Donna, you are right. You are correct. Daniel Jones, a.k.a. Vanilla Vic, we can't stop him. And if he played us for 17 games a year, he'll be a Pro Bowler. Like, he finds a way to dominate us, and you're totally right. But see, we talked about something else. Health. Saquon Barkley, that's what we was worried about. He's going to be injured this game. He has a neck injury. So now we can zero in on Daniel Jones and say, you beat us. All right? And this is the same team that we tied with, 2 weeks ago. So you're going to take an extensive extra game plan into this, and some of the stuff that you held back in that game, you will use in this game. And don't forget, we playing this game at home, and I think that plays in a lot into our hand.
And, you know, I can see it one thing, and that's in this East altogether. Every team is good, but every team is vulnerable. You look at what happened, and then you look at the teams in the ancillary positions, such as the Vikings. They showed us what they're made of. You look at San Francisco, they got someone else hurt. You look at all the teams. The GOAT is where's Gary?
A lamb?
GOAT's the lamb, baby.
Yeah.
We're getting ready for that. So you're looking at the team, and the one team that's the threat, they beat. So they're in a good position right now, and we have to start talking about, as Fred was saying, as Donna was saying, we got to start talking about now how they can beat these teams and when they beat them. If you look around the league, they're in a good position. They're number 6, guys, number 6 right now. But if they lose, they could be number 10.
All I know is this. Hold on, Tony. You attacked the GOAT. Hold on. Let me get this straight.
Yeah.
If the playoffs started today, who would be playing? Who would be playing Tampa? Dallas. Dallas would be playing Tampa. What are they playing in Dallas or playing in Tampa?
Tampa.
Who will win that game?
I'm gonna go with Dallas. You know, the one thing. I never go against Tom Brady. But let me tell you something. Nothing breaks a man morale like going through a divorce. Listen, Tom don't even look cute at the mic no more. He look like a man that ain't slept in months. All right, listen. He cannot take all of that.
Yeah, I kind of go with you on that, Smoothie. He's not the same, but at the same time.
But that's different. It's different rules when you're the GOAT, though. I'm sorry. I've never been married, but if I was married and I was going through a divorce, but we was going to play in a game, I'm going to kick those balls, boy. I'm going to kick
And that's why you ain't never been married.
They ain't gonna stop me. Period. I don't care. That ain't gonna happen. It's just not.
Tom Brady is still trying to get over that bad game he had on Sunday because
It don't matter.
he was
Once you
demolished.
get into playoffs, everything changes. I don't care.
He's dangerous. I don't
It's
bet
a
against
whole
it.
nother thing. Once you get into the playoff, it's a whole new season for everybody.
Jason, he's
The
not
best
the same
team, the
quarterback.
worst team. He doesn't have to be the same quarterback. He just has to be that quarterback on that day.
Well, that team is not the same anymore.
They don't have
Jason,
to be the same.
Did you ever experience that where something happened within your life during the week or during the year that really affected your play?
I know what it was. I can tell you what affected his play was. One time we was playing in Tampa, right? And I didn't know what was going on with Jason, but we in the locker room, and I look over there, and Jason got on some Hacksaw Jim Duggan draws, wrestling underwear. And I'm like, why are you wearing wrestling underwear? And he was like, man, go on with it. So I brought it to the attention of the team, and he left them draws in Tampa.
Hey, why you telling his business, Fred? Why you telling his business?
That's my first NFL start, and this guy come up in my locker room, all up in my locker. I'm trying to prepare for the game. He got my drawers on the hanger. It was my first NFL start. So we tried, it was
mess you up, didn't it?
I tell you what, though, off the field can affect you on the field, though. Like, it can affect you because you're psychic. People always talk about, that's why they always say you got to be locked in and ready to go. You can't wait for the game to get ready. You got to start preparing during the week. And yes, Tom used to throw tablets. He done stopped throwing the tablets. He's calmed down a little bit more. So you think about all that time he was going through everything, he's showing a lot of frustration. And I think he's kind of bowled off to the rest of his football team. I think Tampa is kind of taking on his attitude where you see Mike Evans, he's not playing with a whole lot of energy right now. Like, he looks frustrated because he's not getting targeted as much. But when you want to talk about overall as the NFC, I think it still goes through Philly and San Francisco right now, just from the simple standpoint of from a sack position with the Bosa kid, and then just from the experience of being in this position. The Philadelphia Eagles, if Washington can go in there and beat and play these teams like they played Philly on the road, how do they do it? They control the ball. They control the ball on offense. They didn't give Philly a lot of opportunities to go up and down the field, and they played solid defense. They made them have to go the long game to score touchdowns. A lot of teams get impatient, and that's why Philly is able to hit you with Jalen Hurts and hit you with those play-action passes because they get impatient. But Washington didn't get impatient that game. That's why they could actually sneak up and win some games just because they can control the ball on offense. They have the defense to get there.
But you know what, Alex, and I wanted you to jump in on this, and Gary, I'm answering your question with Alex. When you said, yes, could Tampa beat the Dallas? I think they could. And I'm going to tell you what, Dallas, they were very lucky on Sunday to come out with a victory, and they showed a lot of vulnerability in different places. So I'm not that sold on them. They could have 2 more losses easily. I like what everybody's saying, but Alex, I like the one thing they said, and the one thing that Smoot said, this team is built just like San Francisco. And the thing about it, they do not have nearly as many injuries. So to me, this team, if they win the next one and continue to win week in and week out, they're going to be a threat.
Absolutely. Run the ball, play D. In Baltimore, they're on their 3rd string quarterback. They won the game at Pittsburgh Sunday because they can run the ball and their defense played well. I remember Smoot was on about a month ago and he said something very smart. Backups are backups for a reason. But when you run the ball and you play defense and you don't turn it over, even backups, Taylor Heineke's a backup. And backups to backups can win ball games. We're seeing it. We're seeing it in San Francisco. That guy's the backup to the backup. So this team is built to run the ball. The quarterback can't make mistakes. He can't do that crazy stuff. I mean, here's the deal. It's a double-edged sword. You love when Heineke pulls something out of his you-know-what, and it works. But the end of that Giants game, the first one, he almost threw a pick at the end of regulation, could have lost that game. So you take the good, you sort of deal with the bad. If he can not eliminate the bad completely, kind of squash it, run the football, play defense, I think they can hang with anybody. They beat Philly, and Philly came down and scored a touchdown like that. They could have folded. They were down 7-0 on the road, not our night. From that moment on, they kind of dominated that football game. I think they can make some noise because run it and play D and don't make mistakes and see what happens.
And if you notice during this whole conversation, really the only one that we have said is not doing what we think they should do was the offensive line. And that's what we've had a concern with. And Donna, what kind of improvement do you see in this offensive line? Is it because Robinson is running so well? Are they finally getting the techniques they need to get to be a dominant line?
Well, I think the offensive line, the problem is it was so many changing parts because of injury. So they had the week off, was able to probably get some bodies back. And that to me has been the thing about the offensive line is just being able to stay healthy also. But you said we talked about the offensive line. That's one other position we didn't talk about is special teams. Yeah. And the special teams has to be better also because the kicking game, as far as Tressway, is Tressway. He's been solid all year long, but it's the return game because if you think about that Giants game, field position was so key in that game and will be on Sunday night also is they've got to be able to help with the field position, for Sunday's game. And that's something that they haven't done to me in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Did you hear Gary Clark talking about if I ever been married? Now, we know he always like fast women, fast cars.
He's never been married a day in his life.
Right. I don't even know how he had the nerve to say that. But
I don't even know how he committed to college. I don't know what went on.
He even had to laugh at that with himself. But I'm going to tell you what, let's look at it. It seems like we're on the NFC a lot right now. Let's start looking around the league because our team didn't play this week, but at the same time, we saw some AFC teams that you thought were going to be good. You made a mention about Baltimore, but if you've seen that guy play before, they got a great backup. So really what we're talking about is during the course of the next few weeks, whoever have the most players, if they're backup or not, like Fred said, they got to perform. I remember our first Super Bowl, Art Monk got hurt. Alvin Garrett came in and almost was the MVP. So you have to have that right now. And the one thing that we do know about Washington, we've talked about these people, but first of all, they're strong. They last a long time. But next, they are improving.
Hey, Tony, talk about the Panthers. Y'all can all jump in. The Panthers was dead in the water. And right now, they could possibly be in the playoffs. And the other team that nobody is talking about is the Detroit Lions, who handed the Vikings, they slaughtered them in that game. So those are two teams that started the season, looked like that they weren't going to be even in the conversation of the playoffs. And these two teams, the way they're playing right now, could possibly make some noise also.
And both of them putting up a lot of points as well.
Detroit's always put up points. They got a defense playing a little better now.
I'm going to say nobody wants to see Detroit. This ain't your grandmama Nim's Detroit. This is a totally different Detroit right here. Like Detroit is the Rodney Dangerfield of football. Just no respect. The quarterback, no respect. Dan Campbell, the coach, no respect. These number 1 draft picks, no respect. But all they do is come out here, and you can ask anybody that played against Detroit. One of the hardest games they had this year is Detroit. Understand this: Minnesota winning there is a 2-loss underdog. They was an underdog with 2 losses the first time in NFL history. That should tell you something they got brewing up there in Detroit. And I'm pulling for Detroit because it's an all ex-football player coaching staff, and I respect it to the utmost.
And that's what we need around the league a lot, and we haven't seen that. But as we get back, we'll get back to that AFC because a lot of teams are looking good, as you said. And I answer your question. Jacksonville does look very good. Maybe it's because the quarterback, maybe it's because the attitude. But when we get back, we'll talk a little bit about that. I'm going to tell you what, when we have these breaks, Fred Smoot give us a wealth of information. Who did you say you were like, Fred? Who did you say?
No. I was diagnosed with a rare disease, a Benjamin Button's disease, where I'm reverting back to baby form. While y'all getting older, I'm getting younger.
Yeah, no question. Speaking of that, that's what's happening around the league, guys. And we talked about it a little bit last week, but it seems as though all our star quarterbacks, and that starts up in Green Bay and all the way around, and I think that's what's happening with Brady a lot. Before, Brady was just ducking and trying to miss from getting hit. Now he can't get out of the way. And I see that with a lot of quarterbacks. I mean, I look like our old statue quarterbacks now. These young guys have changed the whole game.
Hey, Tony, one big game that's coming up this week, and you talking about change the scope of the game, is Miami is going up to Buffalo, and Miami has been sliding for the last couple of weeks, and Buffalo right now is getting healthy. What is y'all take on the Miami Dolphins right now, and what's happening with them, and how you see Buffalo right now? Even though Josh Allen, he looked like he's a running back, I think he needs to stop running so much moving forward, but they're getting healthy right now. How do you see that game coming up with the Dolphins, who are sliding on out of the picture right now?
He looks like a running lineman. He don't look like no running back. He's 6'5", 250.
Right.
And then you talking about Miami? Are they going to Miami or
No, it's in Buffalo.
Oh, well, you might well mark that as a loss. They can mail that one in. Mess around the snow up there this week, you got a problem.
Yeah, 6 inches of snow. 6 inches of snow.
Hey,
I was in the league 14 years, and I don't never remember winning a game in the snow up in Buffalo. And that's the honest truth. And we were winning the division, couldn't beat them up there. I don't know how the new players are now, but Jason, I'm coming back to that question. Do you think now is a changing of the guard of the quarterbacks?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a changing of the guards. Because you think about back when I played and right before me, I used to always try to change quarterbacks to fit the system. They want the ball to come out on the third step. They want the ball to come out on the fifth step. And now you look at the way they play the game, they allow these guys to use their skills as an asset. And when you think about like a Jalen Hurts and you think about guys like that, when they utilize him in the offense, they work to where he does well, and it's an advantage. Like he proposes a threat to the defense, and I never understood why coaches would be stubborn sometimes and make guys try to fit the system instead of just fitting the system around what that guy does best. And I think that's what you're seeing. You're seeing a little bit of change of the guard. Like most of these passing plays and with the RPO game, like it has changed the game completely, because now, back when Fred was playing, you didn't have to worry about the quarterback running a read option. You had to worry about Vic taking off scrambling, but it wasn't a lot of RPO game, where now the defensive end, he's got to look at the back, and he's got to look at the quarterback. Exactly. And then the linebacker has got to look at the running back, but also he got to be able to drop back into the hole for the slant. So it's different things that poses threats, and I think that's why you're seeing a lot of young guys succeed at a high level.
No. This lazy reporting. This lazy homework. Hey, that's a lie.
Like it was 1940.
The only reason Tom Brady looking bad this year, the best offensive lineman, Tristan Wilf, has missed more than half of the season. If you get a dirty pocket for a pocket quarterback, they're gonna look regular. He has to have a clean pocket because his offensive line ain't there. The pocket passer in some form or fashion will always be around the game, long as the Shanahans are around, because that's what they love. At the end of the day, I think it's about what are you built to do on offense. Our offense, for instance, is built to run and control games. If you're a quarterback heavy dependent offense, your quarterback has to be great week in and week out. We see that with Josh Allen all the time. But then you turn to the 49ers, they don't need a Josh Allen to win games. There go the difference. Now ask yourself in the playoffs, when you're going to have fewer drives, when it's going to be cold outside, when the run game matter, what is Buffalo going to be? Because the quarterback can't get all your rushing yards. One thing Buffalo doesn't do well, they don't run the ball well, so they can't control the clock. They lost a lot of defensive players. I know they the darling of the NFL, but you better watch out for them Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow is the truth.
Hey, Fred, I was just getting ready. I have made a note. Nobody is talking about the Cincinnati Bengals, but just like last year, they're starting to make a little noise. They're basically saying, keep us off your radar, because guess what? We're going to sneak up behind somebody and claw you.
And lose when it counts. They're going to lose when it counts, Donna? Is that what you're saying?
I know.
They're going to go all the way
Joe Burrow for MVP.
They're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl. Then they're going to lose.
That sounds like Buffalo.
Well, who they going to be playing, Jerry?
I'm going to go all the way. The Commanders.
Okay, I like that.
I said that from the beginning. I said they was going to damn near run the table.
Well, they got to run the tables almost, because you think about what this Commanders.
They just got to run the table one game at a time.
There you go. How many
games at a time?
How many
One
games
game at
you
a
guys
time, because
think
at some
we
point in
lost?
time, you start to believe.
Yeah, the
At some
Chargers
point in
are
time, you start to
interesting.
believe, and by that time, it's too freaking late for everybody else. That's
The
what you
Chargers are
want.
an interesting team. Like the Chargers can throw the ball and they can play defense with Darren James back there. So they're an interesting team that they get in the playoffs. You know, they're another team that's always injury prone. So
There you go.
Who's going to be healthiest at the end of the year, have a shot to go to the Super Bowl.
What
And
about Kansas City? Kansas City, has looked like they're struggling a little bit in the last few weeks.
No.
You said no, Kansas City?
Hey, no, Andy Reid, no. All right, Patrick Mahomes. Listen, when you got a quarterback generational like this and a head coach like that, no, they are always a threat. I don't never have to worry about them.
Did you tell Tony that again?
Huh?
Tell Tony that again. They're always a threat when you.
They're always a threat. Great coaching and great quarterbacking. That's your parent for greatness. If you want long-term greatness, we still have to find that franchise quarterback. But when you in Kansas City and you a fan, you feel good for the next 10 years because your quarterback is always going to have you in every game. Not some games, every game.
Yeah, but then when something happens to him, the whole team goes down. That's what I keep. You saw Mahomes on Sunday make some plays. The one where he's running out of bounds, flipped it over there. You got a touchdown where most quarterbacks would have been sacked in. He's so important. And longer you got him, okay, you got a chance. But at the same time, you have to worry about them getting hurt. Look as we said, look what's happening up there in Maryland right now.
Yeah, but most guys, most of your star players, they're star players for a reason. Of course, they're able to play. They have longevity. Mm-hmm. They do all these things.
And with injuries, they play.
But quite honest, if you want to win, you have to have a great offensive line and a great defensive line. Yeah. My quarterback can be okay. They can be okay. And we'll be okay because if you got a strong line and you got a great group of receivers, we're going to make you look perfect. Yeah. We're going to make you look perfect. The key to winning games is not having your quarterback get sacked. And I'm telling you right now, if you have a pocket passer that allows you to have a vertical game instead of all this short that they do now, if you got a vertical game, I'm going to eat your defense alive because they're not used to it. They're not used to receivers running 15 and 20-yard routes. They're used to receivers running 5-yard slants, give and go, picks and slices. Come on now. Give me a vertical game where my line can actually block for me. Come on now. Also, I can take a 15-yard route into a 20-yard route.
But you had that. But the one thing we did say, which is so prevalent now, everybody got to stay well, and that's the bad thing about it. And speaking of staying well, someone asked me the question earlier. I think Donna even asked me, "What do you do with Chase? With your defensive line playing so well, what do you do with him?"
He becomes a plus. He's a plus. He's a plus. You don't put nothing on his lap. If you can give me 5 plays, so be it. If you can give me 10, so be it. We've been doing it all year without you. We're not forcing you back. 1, 2. We in a groove right now. Like I said, all you can do is be that plus that can throw, like very much like Von Miller was for the Rams last year. You can be that plus to come in and give us some plays. But we have a rotation and a dominant front. Like if you can make quarterbacks uncomfortable, which our D-line does, you have a chance to win. If you can keep your quarterback comfortable, which our offensive line has done for majority of the year, you have a chance to have a clean quarterback, clean pocket, clean game. But Chase, I'm not forcing anything, and I don't know why the fan base is such in a hurry to throw him back in there anyway.
Yeah. You know, Diamond, now what was my answer to that question, Diamond?
Pretty much same thing, Tony.
And that's the way I feel. I feel like you can't break up that chemistry right now, knowing that he's a very good player, but you can't break that up right now. Anytime, and you guys keep hearing me mention it, but you got 2 defensive tackles with 15 sacks between them. Tackles usually only average 15 sacks in careers sometimes. So what I'm looking at, they're doing that, and you got outside people that's playing very good.
Yeah. Casey Hill, Obata, all these guys are fitting in. They making the plays. Montez Sweat with 7.5 coming off the edge. Jamin Davis is making plays who nobody wants to talk about. Cameron Curl is in the box. Forrest is making plays. We got like 10 legit dudes. Fuller is making plays. St. Juice is making plays. This is a football family, and I was always told great football players go to the Pro Bowl, but a football family win championships.
That's what I'm talking about. Smoothie, preach it. Get that Bible out. Preach a little bit more.
You know, my dad is a preacher. You know, I got it honestly. I got it honestly at the pulpit.
I see. But Fran said it, I think, hit it on the head. This team really playing like a family. And when you talk to the secondary, those guys are having fun. They're playing loose. But my question for you all, what concerns you most going into this game on Sunday night against the Giants?
Hold your thought on that. We'll get that when we come back because we got to take a break right now. As they said, I got some big hitters on the show. Can't afford to miss no breaks. We'll be back in a moment.
Yeah, so I should take this off so you see the bicep. All right.
Oh, Ricky's getting ready to pop the biceps out.
I know, but you want to be able to see it when it's working. As opposed, I'm going up like this. I'm trying to get it, but I'm using shoulders. But now I'm here. It's going right here, using my back, my side. All right. So that's what I want you to do.
Let me pull up my sleeve so you can see.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Is that weight good?
Yeah, it's good.
Good. Again, you could put this right on it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Ricky Irvins with another great workout. And this time, Tony, he's working on the biceps. So, getting us all ready for the Christmas holiday. But he said that you've been missing in action. And hopefully this Washington Commanders team won't be missing in action come this week.
Well, everybody's trying to get their bodies right. And everybody talking about a six-pack, but I'm trying to get a keg. So I'm looking at everything doing, but all joking aside, Ricky has really brought a lot to the show, and a lot of people are looking at that. And I tell you what, when you look at what age Ricky is, it's really understanding that he's really a professional at doing this, and I hope that everybody enjoying him do it. But like I always say, make sure you talk to your doctor before you do it, because you don't want to do something you shouldn't do.
Not with Ricky working you out. You definitely want to go see your doctor.
I don't understand why retired football players just ain't had enough of working out. Like, when is enough? Right now, I still get called by Kerry Campbell and Rock Cartwright at 6 a.m. in the morning like I'm going to work out. No, I'm not playing the Steelers next week. I have no use for that. Like, at what point should you let it go as an athlete? I'm good. I'm content.
But you ain't letting it go as an athlete. You're doing that as a person. You doing that to keep yourself healthy.
Now, you know what? I can walk. You know what? I take, I don't even walk. I take scrolls. When I take my scrolls, that's all I need. But, I got guys that working out like literally, like they got a game next week. Mike Sellers, he like 49 years old. He's still growing. He should not be still growing. Rock Cartwright is a 210 pounds. I ain't think he ever gonna be that skinny. And that's why I like guys like me with a natural body. And then I look at Jason, his body hasn't changed since we played sports. That's the same body I do.
Yeah, because you work out, right?
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, I work out 3 to 4 days a week, and Fred never worked out.
Gary neither.
Hey, if Jason is working out 3 to 4 days a week, he need to go get his money from that trainer right now. It ain't working.
I'll tell you what, though, that's very interesting, though, for us to have this conversation. And you look back at it, then what I'm laughing at. I'm listening to you guys tell you guys that, and I remember I was a uniform inspector when y'all was playing, and that was 20-some years ago. So we still work out because my group always, our older players, a lot of them don't work out. They do not continue to work out. And I can tell you what, when you have a sickness or anything come through, that workout comes in a good hand and a good time for you. So, I don't work out like I'm trying to play, but I need to get 4 days in a week at least. And, I need to get that. And speaking of that, These guys are going to have to do a little bit extra. And if you guys remember when we played, we would always have different lifting times and do a little bit extra. What they don't need to change the routine, but what can they do to start building themselves? And Fred, I hate to agree with you, but you got to pick the intensity up on working out at this time of the year because you want to stay well.
Yeah, my question still was what concerns you most going into this game from Washington's standpoint? Because they had a week off. The Eagles crushed the Giants and everything. And we're saying all the right things. Fred is putting a spin. He's preaching in the pulpit. But what concerns you most in this game?
Momentum. Momentum is the key for pretty much every game. Perfect example. We went up against New York. We started off very strong. And then we was up 10-0. Then we let them come right back, right? We let them come right back and score 7 points after we had just went up 10. It's really important that we keep our momentum. Because when momentum can change the game immediately, it just can, and that's what you want to keep. You want to make sure you keep momentum on your side. We can't go down and make a great play and let them come right back and make a better play and get right back in. You can't go score and then let a team come right back and score. You can't have a stop and then we turn the ball right back over.
Exactly.
It's important that we keep the momentum on our side the entire game.
And to answer one of your prior questions, Donna, you said who it worked best for out of the Giants and Washington team, them seeing them lose like that. Neither one of them, because they tied and the Giants got dogs. So you know what? They got to know what they have to do better each and every week. Take advantage of what the Giants gave up on Sunday and try to take advantage of it. You got to do that early in the game. You got to settle it. And like we said, if the running back's not there, that's great. I mean, I'm not saying I don't want anyone to get hurt, but we got to stop that quarterback. We got to get the containment. We got to do it. And like Gary said, it's momentum, but only for one game. Every game is a one-game series right now, one-game season. So you can't be looking ahead.
No.
Daniel Jones or Heineke? Who has the edge there?
No, they're the same guy. All right, they're the same guy. They both run their fan bases rabid. All right, they both make plays that make you say this is our franchise, and they make another play to say no, he's not. All right, so we both up and down with both of these guys, but we don't have to change nothing for the Giants. All right, we got their number. We understand who they are. They understand who we are. What we actually need is the DMV, the fan base, to show up the FedEx Field and have it rocking like it used to be in the 2000s when I was there. Like, people don't understand a home field advantage is everything. We've seen them tie in New York. All right. Well, the fan base should be worth at least 3 points. All right? If the fan base don't show back up and their energy is not in that stadium, you will see the players play like that. And I know they don't think the fans are important. The fans are very important.
Well, John Allen said that they were important.
Yes, they are. It's
very important. And you know what? And all other thing is, Alex, what do you think about one thing other than momentum? I'd be worried about injuries. Because this is that time of year. And when you get injuries and you're trying to make the playoffs, that's why I said to you, Smooty, that they need to keep working hard. I don't know about how Jason may be getting ready to come out. You got a secret you want to tell us, Jason? You already wearing the button-down shirt, looking all proper and pretty.
Oh, yeah, he's 6 months pregnant. Congratulations.
Show or what?
Hey, I'm just trying to get on front of Ebony Magazine, best looking guy, but
no, you can't do that.
Because a lot of young people don't even know who Ebony Magazine is.
I'm going to say, he showed his age and he built like he pregnant. He cannot be on a magazine that you supposed to have abs. That like Jason didn't even have abs when we played. If we played, we was in the best shape of our life. And now all of a sudden you 40 with abs? I don't believe you, Jay.
Hey, Jason, don't let him get away with that one.
Jason.
I'm not worried about Fred. Because we were both lined up beside each other. 9 out of 10 women would pick me.
No, they wouldn't. Oh! Hey, first of all, no. First of all, no, they would not pick you because women. Let me tell you something about women. They like to be communicated with. I'm the better communicator, right? So they would most definitely put me in front of you. And if they like a 6-pack, I still got a 6-pack. Now, you, my friend, you got a 12-pack, 24 case, maybe a keg.
Fred, when they see you walk with them knees like a duck, they gone.
Hey, I'm bow-legged.
Yeah.
Hey, fans, I hate to stop this right now, but we're finding out a lot of locker room information. So when we get back, we still got to go back. What you guys got to tell me, Alex, what I want you to tell me when I ask you, are you worried about injuries going in? Then we'll start talking around the league. What teams are we looking at? We got to change all our picks because I still say San Francisco is in the top, but they're losing a player a week. And if you keep doing that, they will not be in the top long. Washington could be the one. We'll be back.
Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus Speakers Bureau offers you various opportunities to connect with former and current players along with Tony and the crew. For more information, go to redmagplus.com Speakers Bureau.
One more thing.
Well, the picks, and I don't have to even say anything. And I know Gary is not talking because he's dead last. Ain't even got a chance. Picks up on the board. But one of the games coming up this week is what's happening with the Titans right now because they look like they just fell apart.
Well, you know, they always have a strong running game. And it seems as though since the big guy got hurt down there, even though he's back, he's not the same as he was. And I'll tell you what, if you look back through the years, whenever you get a running back to amass 2,000 yards or something like that, 2 or 3 years later, they're done. And I don't know what it is, wearing them out or what, but I've seen that over and over and over.
You sound like my granddad. In 8 years, they're done. They done for good.
Them young boys don't know what they're doing. But I want to ask you guys, what does this team need to do to win? We only got 2 or 3 minutes. So what does this team need to do against these Giants?
Tony, I'll start. They got to run the football. They got to eliminate mistakes. That we can say that about every football game that's ever been played in the history of the game. I think Fred's right. The crowd's got to come out. I think the Washington team has to come out with an edge. I think sometimes, I've never played, but I've covered enough games where I think sometimes the home team expects some extra boost and they kind of waltz in. I think they should have that same chip on their shoulder that they took to New York to go up 10-0, but bring that at home. Don't expect to win just because you're at home. Don't expect, we got this. We're at home this time. You got to come out hungry, run the football, play defense. Special teams can't lose it for you, and they win the football game.
All right, quickly, Fred.
I think they just got to be true to themselves. Be who you are. We know who our identity is. We're going to run the ball down your throat. We're going to make you like it. We're going to play tough defense. We got Treadway, the best punter in the league. We got Joey Slow. We got a great kicker. So at the end of the day, stay true to who you are. Stay true to your identity and be more physical. Because right now, at this time of the year, the most physical team wins the football game. And we have been that physical team. Heineke, take care of the ball. Get the ball to Terry as much as you can. And let's win this game our way, not their way.
Okay, Jason, Pretty Boy took a lot of your time, so you're going to have to do it quickly.
Yeah, I would just say they got to come out and hit this team in the mouth early and often. Like, make the Giants doubt themselves. They're coming off a tough loss. They, they're going to try to come out and start fast themselves, but you got to make them doubt themselves early. And like I said, offensively, Heineke, protect the football. Don't get the Giants a short field. That's their only chance to win this game. I think our defense can do a great job of shutting them out. And I think it'll be a great football matchup. But like I said, Washington fans, don't sell your tickets. Come out there and be there in person and get behind this team and be loud.
G.
Just win, baby. It's really simple.
He done went out to the Raiders on this.
Knockout punch, Tony. Don't let them get back up out of the ring. Once you hit them at the beginning, I said the beginning, the middle, the end. Knockout punch.
And we're looking at this game, and we've been talking about week to week improvement and everything. But you have to look at it one way. It's just like the man that jumped out the 8-story window. At the 4th floor, he heard the people say, "Well, why'd you do it?" He said, "So far, so good." But what they're doing is so far, so good. They got to continue to do it, and they got to do it each and every play. But as I said, this has been a great show, guys. Thanks for coming on. We got to do this back. But
and Jason does not look better than me. No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Well, as I tell you guys, we never say goodbye. We say in the minute.